And you will all receive a copy of the recording of this webinar as well, so you can refer to it later on. So let's dive in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I am Hallie Crawford. I'm a certified career coach, speaker, and author based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Florida. And I have undergraduate and graduate degrees from Vanderbilt University and the University of Illinois. And I've actually been coaching and training for 16 years. I know I might sound and look like I'm 12. I'm actually 44 and have a 9-year-old boy. And I have been coaching for a very long time, and I absolutely love what I do. And our company is regularly featured in the media for our career expertise, including publications like Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, and Kiplinger Magazine. I love doing those media articles, etc. And I am thrilled to be here with you today, and I thank you in advance for your time and participation. I love doing these webinars, so I'm really jazzed that you all are here today. So before we begin, just really quickly, everyone, I wanted to let you know that your phones are muted because we have at least 100 people that have registered for this webinar today, and I want to make sure that everyone is able to hear the presentation. So do me a favor, and please use the Q&A function of the meeting window if you want to submit any questions during the course of the presentation and during the Q&A portion of the webinar. I'm going to hold all the questions till the end because that's just easier, okay? And I will answer as many as I can. We should have about 3 to 5 minutes at the end for Q&A. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. First thing I want to tell you all is that I understand the importance of career management. I really get it. I am clear on my path now, and I love what I do as a career coach, but it wasn't always that way. 16 years ago when I founded my business in my late 20s, I was totally clueless about what I was going to do long term. I had jumped around from job to job. I had 5 completely different jobs in completely different industries before age 28. And I knew that I wanted to be a coach, but honestly, guys, I had no idea how to run a business, much less create a strategic career and business plan. And I learned, honestly, by doing and failing often. And I will tell you that I believe that I would be at least 7 years ahead of where I am now in my business had I done a better job planning my career trajectory as a coach. It's kind of painful to think about, but the past is the past, right? And I'm here to help you understand not just what I have learned personally for myself, but also what we help our clients with in order to determine and define their strategic career plan, okay? So this comes from personal experience as well. All right, so if you take a look at the slide here, everyone, here's our basic agenda. It's the 3 keys to unlock your plan. So key number 1 over here is to define your career aspirations, and we're going to talk about how you can begin to do that for yourself. Key number 2 is to build your personal brand, and we will discuss using our ideal career model to start to determine what your personal brand is. And key number 3 is to develop that plan. And we're going to give you some basics to get started on your plan as well. And by the way, hold on to the end here as well, because we are going to be emailing you afterwards a strategic career plan template that you'll be able to take advantage of in order to work through your plan on your own. So here's the deal, everybody. If we have learned anything from the recessions of the past, we now know that our jobs are an asset. And in many cases for us, the best one that we have. We are our own best asset. And we have to treat our career as such, as an asset that we need to nurture consistently and take care of it and be proactive about it, because you never know when there might be a career change like the ones listed on the slide, whether it's right sizing and your organization is shifting, or there's a buyout, or you decide you need to relocate, or you want to move on to another company or into a different role, or you're ready to move up to that next place or level in your career. We need to pay attention to and be ready for any type of possible career change that might happen, and we need to plan strategically for what we want to happen in terms of our career as well. So here's part of the deal with this too, if you take a look at this slide also, is today the average person has about an average of 11 job changes. People will change jobs between 10 to 15 times during the course of their career. And this is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, okay? So you have to pay attention to not just your strategic career management, but you must remain fulfilled in your jobs, challenged, and marketable, because these three things are critical to success in your career along the way. You have to have all of these things in place. They must be present at all times. So this is part of what we're going to talk about today, is how to make that happen for yourself as well. So let's move on to key number one first. Okay, so key number one is to define your career aspirations. Here are, on this slide, are some basic guidelines for your strategic career plan, okay? We suggest that you start with 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year plans, okay? And you start at 5 and work backwards. We also suggest that you develop, by the way, a vision as well as a plan. The difference between a plan and a plan is the tactical, tangible elements, the goals that you have and the action steps you need to take. The vision is kind of the soft side of it, like how do you want to feel when you go to work and after work? What is your vision of your ideal day at work? What does it look like at your office? What are your coworkers like? So you want to have both the vision and the plan, because the plan is the implementation that you have to have, but the vision is the thing that's going to inspire you and motivate you to move forward. So I would encourage you to also write out a 1-page vision for yourself of how you want to feel about your work as well. And we also recommend that you check and update this plan at least quarterly. Put a note on your calendar to do that on a regular basis to remind you, okay? So key number one, still defining your career aspirations. There are 3 components that you want to consider and have or incorporate into your strategic career plan. Who are you? And we're going to talk about self-assessments and asking others for input as well. Where are you going? What are your long-term goals for your career? And what is the right career fit long-term for you too? And the third one in green here is how will you get there? What's the plan to get there? And what are the strengths, talents, etc. that will get you to that place? What do you need to leverage? Okay, so let's look at who are you first here at the bottom of the slide. Okay, so this, everyone, is the ideal career model that we use with all of our clients. These are the 8 pieces to use and focus on when developing your plan. And specifically, the pieces where the arrows are here, everyone, are the ones that will help you define that first question, who are you? So look at these specific boxes. And what I want you to do is for homework assignment number 1 is write down what your answers are for each of these boxes to who are you. So first of all, values, passions, and interests, okay? You want to define what's fulfilling and rewarding for you. And the way that you can do that is by understanding what your values and passions and interests are. You can think about where you spend your free time. What topics are you drawn to when you're reading or watching TV or in conversations with friends, okay? Authenticity is one of my values, and I'm the kind of person that always gets down and talks to people about what's really going on in their life at a party. And, you know, I'm drawn to self-improvement and self-help books that help people understand who they are. Number 2 is to think about and determine your strengths. Look back at your successes at work and personally so far in your life. What are the common strengths that are represented by identifying these themes? In your free time, where do you excel the most? And what do people ask you for help with or advice on typically? Okay. Then we look at education here. What is your expertise and skill set based on undergraduate or graduate courses or even continuing education? Then we go across here to the right and look at experience. What you bring to the table as a result of your experience, whether it's traditional work or volunteer or leadership roles, serving on a board. Any experience, everybody, can be relevant here. It rounds out what you bring to the table. And finally, in terms of who you are, you want to look at your personality type. Are you more of a leader or a follower? Are you more tenacious and driven? Are you more laid back and you kind of help people connect with each other more? So these things, everyone, answer who you are in order to help you define your long-term career goals, okay? And what this means for those goals, how you correctly define your career aspirations based on who you are as a person. What will be important to you in terms of fulfillment career-wise? What strengths do you want to leverage in your long-term career? And we'll talk in a moment, by the way, about who you are in order to define your brand. This part of the who are you question is different from that. This is for you to really understand who you are and what's important to you, written for your own purposes to define your goals, where your brand is written for the outside world. So it's a shift there, okay? Now we look at where are you going. This is another piece to defining your career aspirations. So here's how you define it. We want you to look at all of the pieces on the model to define the ideal career. So we would add to it, for example, what's the ideal compensation? What's the lifestyle you want? What kind of benefits do you want? Do you want flex time? Remember that compensation is not just about money, it's about benefits as well. You look over here at what's the ideal work environment for you. Long term? Do you want to work from home? Is it better for you to work in an office? Do you want it to be close to home, or are you okay with a little bit of a commute? In order to think about this, you can do a kind of a visualization for your ideal day at work to get a sense of what the right work environment would be and what type of people do you want to work with, your coworkers. You want to think about your personality type here again as well, and who are not just your ideal coworkers, but your ideal clients and boss. And also, you want to look at and consider education. Is there an additional degree that you've always wanted to get, or a class you've always wanted to take? And what does that mean about what you're interested in terms of your career? And what kind of education do you need to add to your plate once you define your goals in order to move forward? You take a look also at experience and look back at your past experience. What experiences have you really enjoyed at work that you want to leverage in your long-term career goals? Okay? And then finally, we look at strengths and fulfillment and enjoyment. What tasks do you typically really enjoy, either at your current job or previous jobs, that you want to have in your ideal career? What strengths do you want to leverage on a regular basis? And again, like we talked about, what would you enjoy and have, get more fulfillment out of? So I'll give you a quick example with the fulfillment piece. I love doing creative tasks as well as coaching. And one of the things that's great for me about owning my own business is I get to do some writing and do some marketing as part of having my own business, and I love that. But here's the thing, everybody. That is fulfilling for me a little bit. It is not the main thing I want to do all day, every day. So you do have to define for yourself, by the way, what's the main thing that you want to do all day, every day, and that's what goes in fulfillment. And the enjoyment piece is, hey, there are these other things that I get to do, like giving presentations, or sometimes I get to travel, or whatever it is. For me as a coach, coaching is something I can do all day, every day. It doesn't take the fun out of it. But I had a marketing job before where I had to do a lot of marketing and writing, and I hated it. It was not the right fit, because that one belongs in the enjoyment box for me. It's a part of what I do as part of being a business owner. It is not my main task. So that's how you know the difference between those two. All right, let's take a look at the how will you get there. This is the third piece talking about career aspirations. So here's the deal. Take a look at this list on the slide. So how will you get there? These are the things you want to start thinking about to develop your plan. What kind of training and experience do you need to achieve your long-term goals, okay? And one of the things that you can do is conduct informational interviews with people who are in the long-term role you want to be in. You can also look at their LinkedIn profiles to identify what their path was, how did they get there, in order to get some ideas about training and experience. Then number two, what critical roles do you need to have over the next 1 to 5 years to make the plan happen? And are those roles at your current organization or somewhere else? You need to consider those as well. These all go in your plan. Do you need to stay or go from your current organization? Are you in the right fit now? And can where you are support you in achieving your long-term goal or not? Be honest with yourself about this. Don't try to fit yourself into something that won't work. If you need to move on from your company or organization, that's okay. That could be part of the plan. Number four, support and accountability. This is a huge piece of the plan. You want to identify who can be on what I call your dream team of support. These could be friends, they could be family members, former coworkers, a mentor, whoever can help support you with support and accountability as well to hold you to your goals. And they can help you with your blocks to success, which we'll talk about too here as well. But once you identify people who can be supportive of you, everyone, you want to talk with them and ask for what you need and set up kind of an agreement. Hey, can you help me while I'm figuring out my strategic career plan and, making the changes I want to make over the next 6 months to a year, okay? And ask them, hey, can I talk to you once a month over the phone or whatever it is? Be specific with the plan with them. I did not do this originally in my transition period of my career, and I wish that I had. It would have made a big difference. Number 5, where do you need to expand and also, though, maintain your network? Remember, your network is going to be critical, not just to help you develop your plan, but also implement it. Having a solid network and leveraging it is not just for job searching, everybody, and a change. It's a constant thing you need to pay attention to. You need mentors. You need people who can help you, give you advice, who are in your specific industry and can give you that like insider knowledge about what it's like to work in a certain role or at a certain organization. These are critical too. So you have to have, a piece in your plan for how will I maintain and leverage the network of people that will help me implement my plan too. And finally, number 6 is our blocks to success. You also, before you start thinking about or implementing your plan, you need to identify what could get in the way, any fear, negative thinking, or risk aversion that might cause a problem for you and provide a block to your success. And you need to figure out a way to overcome those and manage them right out of the box, okay? So key number 2, we're going to talk about branding now, and here's the deal on this slide. Your brand is the value you're able to deliver to people that you're serving. It's not just shameless self-promotion. Sure, it is a little bit of that, but it's about creating value, okay? And you have to focus on that when you're thinking about your brand. You're not focusing on you, you're focusing on the value you provide to others. And statistics show here that less than 15% of professionals have truly defined their personal brand well, and less than 5% are living it consistently. So it's something that we all need to work on, okay? So thinking about your personal brand, one thing you can do is a self-assessment, and I encourage you to have all of these pieces in your brand here. First of all, with your values and your passion. Why are you interested in your career path and what you do job-wise? People love to hear that. It's part of your story and your brand. The reason why I'm a career coach is because I struggled with this so much in my 20s, and I lived in my mother's basement for a long time because I was just so lost. And that is compelling for people because they can understand and feel and sense that passion I have for what I do. So you want to have that component to it. Your strengths, your education, and your experience. What's your background and your skill set? This is about, for your brand, what you bring to the table, but also the results you achieve. So like my elevator pitch is, I help people find a job that makes them want to jump out of bed in the morning. That is the result for others that I achieve. It's not just about me, it's about other people, okay? And by the way, if you feel like you have trouble articulating what your strengths are, one of the assessments we highly recommend is the StrengthsFinder assessment. It is StrengthsFinder, strengths plural, finder, all one word.com. It's fantastic. It's only $15 online, and it is very helpful to give you not just your strengths, but also compelling language to explain them and the result that you provide to people, okay? And finally, in your brand, you want to incorporate what your personality type is, not just your strengths, but again, like we said earlier, are you driven? Are you tenacious? Are you more extroverted so you connect well with others? These things are considered kind of intangible or soft skills. These are things, everybody, employers can't teach them. They can teach you new software and other things like that that are tangible, but they can't teach you to have a good work ethic, okay? So these are things that are actually critically important for employers at any level as well. And we recommend having about 3 of these for each area, 3 values, at least 3 strengths, and 1 or 2 examples, I should say, of experience in education, okay? All right, let's keep going. So also in terms of building your personal brand, and this is a little bit of self-assessment, and then we're going to start to talk about talking with other people too, to get that sense of how you're coming across. Because too often we might think our brand is XYZ, But when we talk with other people about how we're coming across, it may not always match up. So it is important to interview other people at this early stage when you're, discovering and deciding what you want your brand to be or what it is. It is really helpful to talk with other people about it as well. And this leadership wheel can help you with your brand career-wise specifically. So this is a leadership wheel from Development Dimensions International. It's a management consulting firm, okay? And here's the deal, everybody. Leadership and your ability to exhibit leadership skills is a critical piece to your career plan, regardless of whether you want to be in management or not, because these skills will enable you to move into the positions you want. And what you want to do here, everybody, is rate yourself in each area. You see there's numbers here, 1 to 10, okay? Rate yourself in each area and pay attention, though, too, to the ones that are relevant to your goals. Some may not be. So, for example, if coaching and developing others, if you're not interested in being in a management role, that one may not be as relevant for your career goals. I like to do these anyway, so I would encourage you to do all of them just because I think it's fun. But do keep in mind that you want to focus on the ones that are relevant to your goals. And what I would do is identify where you are now. How would you rank yourself, okay? And then I would also push you, so this is a second homework assignment, is to fill this out, but I would push you to ask your boss about it. And if not your boss, ask them to rank you. If not your boss, ask your coworkers or your friends as well. Get an objective opinion here, everybody, to understand where you fall in these areas in terms of leadership, where you may need to work on things, and how that plays out in terms of your brand, okay? And also, finding out or getting kind of an objective opinion from other people, really, really helpful to determine and understand and even begin to change or shape your brand. These are questions, 3 here on the slide, that I would suggest you ask 3 people at least. What are your strengths? What do you do better than most people, most anyone else that they know? And when they think of you, what 3 adjectives come to mind? And by the way, I would encourage you to do a blend of male, female, as well as friends, family, and coworkers in order to get a mix of opinions here, because it's good to get different perspectives on what this is, okay? Also, key number 2, and then we're going to move to key number 3 in the next slide. Finally, when you are writing your brand positioning statement, these are the 3 pieces you want to have. Who do you serve? The attributes and the qualities outside of demographics, clients who want to grow their business or people who want to provide a certain product or service to their customers. So who do you serve? Number 2, what makes you unique? What unique value do you provide to them that no one else does, or at least in the way that you do? And why? Why should they believe you? How do you deliver? Why should they believe you based on and by you telling them what your typical results are? Okay, these are the results I get for people. Custom programs and treatments for veterinarians, or like I said, the result is, people want to jump out of bed to go to work in the morning, okay? So those are the pieces you want to have in your branding statement. Now, key number 3, like we said, is to develop the plan. And I want you to go back, like we talked about earlier, when you're thinking about writing your plan, okay, before you think about it, don't let this be you. Identify what obstacles may get in your way of writing the plan or implementing it. Is it fear of making a change? Do you tend to procrastinate and you need to make sure you block out the time and get an accountability partner? Are you uncertain about your direction? If you're uncertain, you need to go back to the first key here and figure out what your career direction is, because you can't write your plan unless you know what that is. Okay, so pay attention to what might get in your way. Too many people call us one year, oh, I'm not ready for coaching yet. Okay, fine. They call us the next year, I didn't do anything since the last time I talked to you. All right. Now, what you want to do instead of letting those obstacles hold you back is you want to be the CEO of your career. These are the steps you need to take in order to do that, okay? So as you're writing your plan and after you write it, you need to do all 4 of these things. Be clear and stay clear on your direction. Make sure that you're marketing your skills on a consistent basis and taking risks. You want to actively seek opportunities across your organization or even if at other organizations, if that's more relevant to you. And you want to build your transferable skills and also think about the evolution of your career over time. Don't just think about immediate, think long-term, everybody, okay? Finally, looking at, we've got a few more slides here, just a quick reminder, here are your basic guidelines for your strategic career plan. Again, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, work backwards, okay? So I'm going to pause here for just a moment, everybody, and we're going to get to Q&A in just a minute. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to get out your pen and paper, please, or write it on your computer. I want you to write down one action step that you will take this week. And what I mean by that is by next Wednesday, you can even send me an email if you want as an accountability step. It's Hallie@HallieCrawford.com. What is one action step you will take? Are you going to interview other people about your top strengths and adjectives? Are you going to fill out the leadership wheel? Are you going to look at and print out the career model to start figuring out your direction? One action step. And the beach awaits you apparently at the end of it. Okay, so write that down for me, please. And feel free to share this in the question box as well as questions as we start to wrap up here and do the Q&A portion. So here's the deal, guys. A couple more slides here. So first of all, I wanted to share this with you. And I want you to know that I get that sometimes creating this kind of plan and stepping out of our comfort zone, trying something new, it feels like a risk and it can be scary for us. And I want you to push yourself and keep this quote in mind. This is the quote for me that always kept me going, even during those times when I was freaked out and didn't want to step out of my comfort zone, okay? The greatest risk in life is not taking one. Think about at the end of your life, what do you want to tell your grandkids if you want to have kids? Do you want to tell them that you tried, even if you failed? Or do you want to tell them, oh, I didn't even try at all? So push yourself, reach out to a potential mentor, write your career plan, ask for accountability and help from a partner or a coworker, whatever it is. Remember that without risk, there is no reward, and without a rudder, a boat won't go in the right direction. Your career plan is your rudder, okay? So I want to thank you for your time as we wind down here and get to the Q&A portion. I want you all to know that you will get an email with a link to download a strategic career plan template that will be sent to you. I encourage you to check that out and adjust it for your needs and purposes, okay? It's a template for you to use and personalize for you. And also, we will send you an email as well, or in that same email, an offer for a free consultation, okay? And a link to schedule that with me directly. I'd be happy to talk with any of you about either your strategic career plan or any of your other career needs, whether it's resume or figuring out your career direction. And also, if you don't want to wait for that and you want to schedule the consult right now, you can use this email address right here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and pause for a moment. And I'm going to give us a few minutes. We've got about 2 minutes. Feel free to put questions in there in our box here. And if you want to share any action items, I would be happy to share those as well. I am going to keep everybody on mute just because there's so many that I want to make sure that we can hear. Okay, so I do have one question that just came in. How do I create a plan if I'm unsure of my direction or have 2 paths I'm considering or interested in? This is a really great question, and what I would say first is you've got to make a decision first. You need to step back and take the time. It's worth it to do so because you can't be effective unless you know your direction and your long-term goal. So what I would do here is I would get out the ideal career model and I would start to fill that out for yourself. Conduct informational interviews with people in the 2 paths that you're interested in to find out more how they sound to you, and also if they fit within the ideal career model, because now you've got that tool, okay? So that's what I would do as well. Okay, so that's one question. Any others? Oh, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me move this over here just in case. All right. One other question I've got, and then we may need to jump off after we're finished here. One other question that just came in is, what role can a mentor play in developing your plan? Here's the deal. Mentors are a great thing, everybody, and here's how they can help you. Mentors are typically people that are either in your industry or in the same role or a similar role to yours, because they can give you that industry-specific knowledge. So once you create kind of broad strokes of your plan about what you're thinking and what your action steps might be, a mentor can help you finalize those and tell you, take this step but not this other one, okay? So they can help you kind of fine-tune that plan. I would not go to them with no plan at all. I would have a draft in place and ask them to help you fine-tune it along the way and provide accountability if they will. All right, everyone, thank you again so much for your time. We are going to jump off now because I want to make sure I'm mindful of your time. Please look out for the email follow-up with all of the additional resources that we have for you. And if there's anything else that we can help you with along the way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.